Welcome to the Thornton Review, the show designed with you in mind. If it's important to you, it's important to us. Keith Leonard grew up in Cantonment, Florida, and graduated from Tate High School. During his senior year, he was the quarterback when Tate Aggies football team won the 1980 state championship. Keith began his teaching career in 1986 as coach of the Tate baseball team. He's responsible for starting the Tate Aggies Classic, which became a national and prestigious high school baseball tournament. In 2023, Keith took the position of Chief Negotiator for the Escambia County School District. He was then promoted to Director of Human Resource Services and then to Assistant Superintendent. Keith was appointed Interim Superintendent in May 2023. In January 2024, the school board voted to make him the permanent superintendent. Keith comes from a family of teachers and administrators in the Escambia County School District, including his parents, wife, sister, daughter, and nephew. Keith understands the importance of a supportive educational environment. Keith is a devoted husband of 33 years. He and his wife have 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters. Hi, I'm Pueschel, Schneier, Executive Producer and Manager of the Thornton Review. Thank you for tuning in. Our guest on today's show is Keith Leonard, Escambia County School Superintendent. Keith, it is very nice to have you on the show. Will you please introduce yourself?
Pueschel, thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited about being with you. Keith Leonard, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I try to be your superintendent every day, so I have a pretty fulfilling life.
Well, I think you're doing an amazing job. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll begin our discussion with Keith Leonard, Escambia County School Superintendent. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to begin our discussion with Keith Leonard, Escambia County School Superintendent. So Keith, like I said, it's so nice to have you on the show again. This is the second time you've been on the show, and I believe you were on 2 years ago.
Man, time flies.
Yeah, when you were appointed to as interim superintendent. So when you first got the position, you weren't the superintendent, you were the interim superintendent.
Correct.
Can you please explain that process to us?
Yeah, what occurred was the school board decided to go in a different direction as far as it relates to the superintendent position, and at that particular time, I want to say it was June of 23. They asked if I would do it, and then they ended up voting for me to be the interim superintendent. So for a period of 6 or 7 months, I operated as an interim superintendent. I can tell you that there really isn't any difference between being interim and being the superintendent. All the responsibilities are exactly the same. And when you think about it in real world terms, we're all interim. we're all just here for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it really didn't impact the way our team went about doing their job. Like I said, it was for 6 or 7 minutes. It was just I was the person in the role for that period of time.
Mm-hmm. And then at some point they decided to take the word interim out and actually point you to a permanent position.
Correct. I ended up, I want to say it was either in a December or a January board meeting, 6 or 7 months later, that they did appoint.
It was January 2023.
Oh my goodness!
I remember it well.
You have it exactly right.
Yeah.
The permanent superintendent, and I have like an 18-month contract, which is coming back up here this December. So we'll see which direction.
Okay, so that explains something I didn't really know. I had a question about. Okay. So it's an 18-month contract each time, and they vote whether or not to extend your contract.
That is correct. I want to say the first contract that I signed off on was a 3-year contract, but it came due every December for an 18-month extension, which I guess now if they extend my contract either in December or January, that would roll us through December of 2028. Okay. Of course, it's up to our 5 school board members, and I answer to whatever direction they want to send me in.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations on that, because that's pretty much the highest level in Escambia County School District you can achieve. And you've been in Escambia County School District literally all your life. So your mother was my 4th grade math teacher. I remember her well. Very nice lady and taught, very good teacher. Strict.
Yes.
Detailed, could explain things in a way that a 4th grader can understand math. I learned a lot in her class. She's a good teacher. Your father was the principal at Ransom Middle when I went there. But to back up, in the 5th grade, so you were, when I was in the 5th grade,
okay, all right.
You were a senior at Tate High School.
I'm a lot older than you. That's exactly right, yeah.
Well, you were a quarterback for the Tate Aggies.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are the person who was responsible for taking the Tate Aggies high school football team to state. Tate goes to state. Tate went to state.
Yes.
And the entire county was chanting, Tate goes to state. I remember that well.
I do. There's some fond memories there, and that's I think we ended up winning the state championship in December of 1980. Mm-hmm. So it may seem like a very long time ago, but those memories are near and dear to my heart. It sounds like they're near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely.
Well, you're right. The entire community sort of rallied and came and got behind what we were doing there at our school.
Yeah.
I was just fortunate to get to be a part of that. It was a great time in my life.
Mm-hmm. And so then you graduated high school and you went on to become a coach at Tate.
That's right. In 1986, I finally came home after I graduated from college and started teaching and coaching. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity to work my first 3 years at Pine Forest High School for my old high school principal and high school football coach. We ended up with some really, really good teams there at Pine Forest. In 3 years, we won 2 state championships and 1 national championship. Also had the opportunity to coach baseball. And most importantly, meet a lot of really neat families and teach some incredible students. I love teaching social studies. So it was a really good 3 years of my life. And then 3 years later, I got the opportunity to go back to my alma mater, Tate High School, and be a social studies teacher and a head baseball coach and football coach. So I stayed at Tate for 15 years. Ended up being the athletic director and the head football coach there. Really had a good time and hopefully impacted some kids in a positive fashion.
Absolutely. I'm sure you did.
Tried to.
Well, I know your parents did.
Yes.
And of course you weren't a teacher of mine, but if you learned from your parents and it's in your family, it's in your genes. You've been in Escambia County School District all your life. You live and breathe it. It's just something that you've thrown your life into and you're passionate about it, clearly.
To say I'm passionate about it, sort of an understatement. It really is what me and my family have always been about. My sister's a school teacher. My wife's now a retired school teacher. Our oldest daughter is a retired school teacher. our youngest daughter is an attorney. We're still working on her. I believe we'll be able to get her to become a teacher here pretty soon.
Yeah. She may become a professor, law professor, maybe.
She may very well do so. But Escambia County is near and dear to my heart, and what we were trying to do in our school district is make certain we build that trajectory in a very positive fashion. And I think we're headed in that, at least in that territory. From an academic standpoint, that's really what we need to be about. You talked about what my mom was able to instill in you in fourth grade, those foundational principles of basic educational services. You know, sometimes you just need to get back to those fundamentals, and we have some remarkable teachers.
Escambia County really does.
Yeah.
We've got good teachers. We've got good schools.
Very, very proud of what our team does day in and day out.
They teach the basics very well.
Yes.
That's what I like to focus on, is the basics: reading, writing, math, social studies, science, history.
Those fundamentals are what are going to carry you on in life. And ultimately, what we want is for those individual students that when they do get 5, 10, 20, 25 years after high school, that they're well prepared to be quality citizens, whether it be in our community or somewhere else. We hope they come back and are a part of our community, and that's something we certainly strive for.
Absolutely. I agree. So when you became the superintendent, what was the biggest issue or problem in the district, and what did you do to solve it, and has it been fixed?
Okay. You know, I try to keep things simple, try to come up with some acronyms that'll help us remember what our mission may be at a particular time. Well, from the onset, we talked about the ABCs, and it was critical for us to work on finding a way to increase attendance, that being the A, decrease behavior incidents, that being the B, and then C was some consistency, having some stability with our teaching staff, support staff, making people feel welcomed and be a part of the equation of what we were trying to accomplish. So we really spent that first 6, 7, 8 months reinforcing what we were trying to do from an attendance perspective and from a behavior standpoint. With behavior, I still believe, and will until the day that the good Lord takes me home, that young people, they want discipline. They want to know that
they want structure.
I believe they understand consequences. And as long as they know you care about them and you go to the nth degree for them, they'll try to do the same thing for you. So we've worked really hard as it relates to behavior. In fact, every week we send a report to our school-based administrators about what we've been able to accomplish, not necessarily on disruptive behavior or individual students that are not acting the way they're supposed to, but rewarding those students that do act the way they're supposed to. And then we'll certainly have consequences for those that do not. Our attendance rate has increased. It was around 90.5% 2 years ago when we first started out. Now it's bordering every week on about 92 to 92.5%. So that increase is there. So if you got kids in attendance, and then those students that are in attendance are behaving, that means that everybody can learn. And then making certain that people feel like they're part of the equation, that they're part of what we're trying to do day in and day out, has provided us with some consistency and stability. And then this year we added coursework performance, so we're measuring all 4 of those as we go through it. But I would say attendance and behavior were the first 2 things that we wanted to work on. And have we been able to fix everything? No, ma'am, Pueschel, we're getting there. But
it takes a team, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Everybody has to be a team player.
There, every day, doing what they're supposed to do, and we're making certain that they're successful in school. We'll still have work to do. So, yeah, I would say we're getting closer, but we still have much work to do.
Absolutely. It starts at home. I think it starts at home.
I would agree. It started at my house.
Yep. If you have structure at home, if a child, a student has structure at home, and they know what's expected of them, and the parents are on board with what's expected at school, and they understand that, and they're able to instill that in their kids, then the child is going to succeed. in school.
I'm a firm believer in that. I know that when I do have the opportunity to talk to moms, dads, guardians, and that I can be honest with them about what happened at school, what their student had done, what we need from that particular parent or guardian, what we need moving forward to be able to get their support. When you talk to the parents like that, they know you really are trying to, that you do have
care.
Yeah, you have the best interest of their child at heart. I'm also beginning to see that support heightened within our community as well.
That's
and kind of
important.
going back to where we used to be and where we ought to be today.
Well, that's important.
Yes,
I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you understand that and that's something that is at the forefront in the Escambia County School District, is a nurturing environment so that kids can know what is expected of them, that they participate in class.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Perfect segue into what you had to say, is talking about what we're trying to do academically. And also garnering that support from our community and our parents. 2 years ago, we had 14 A's, we had 12 B's and 25 C's. Well, that's certainly not where we want to be this past school year. We saw 86% of our schools either stay the same or improve.
Good.
So we're at 16 A's, 17 B's, and 18 C's. So that's a big improvement from where we were. And I think that's helping us with our community, but most importantly with our parents, because they are beginning to see, if they hadn't already, that what we're able to offer in our school district is second to none. And we just appreciate, a show like yours here, the Thornton Review, giving us the opportunity to toot our horn a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'm happy to have you on, and I think this is an important show because the school, to me, the school district and the school board and the superintendent are extremely important positions in our community. And it's very important that you have the right people there who understand about caring for kids and what's actually important and what they actually need to be learning in school, and how teachers need to be behaving, how parents need to be behaving, and how the students are, because the students see that's who they're learning from, is parents and teachers. And if everybody is on the same page with what's important at school and what's going to get these children to grow up and succeed.
I am in full agreement with you. When you think about this Monday, and there's 330-something thousand citizens in Escambia County. Well, in some form or fashion, about 3/4 of those citizens are impacted by what we do in the school district. So if you were going to talk about the backbone of what's supposed to happen in Escambia County, I truly believe your school system is a reflection of that. So getting support from people like you and many, many others within our community is critical for not just what we do today, but more importantly, what these students, when they become adults, have the opportunity to do right here at home. So, I'm in complete agreement with you, Michelle.
Thank you. So, as far as academic improvement,
yes, ma'am.
So you just explained that. Can you kind of detail or generalize the steps that were implemented to get to that academic improvement?
Yeah, I hope I can. Whether it be, some people would call it get faster, quicker. We've implemented a universal design within our school district. A lot of our students, because of the circumstances with their family, doesn't mean that their moms and dads or guardians aren't supportive. It's just that we have a pretty high rate of mobility. So if you're at one elementary school,
so you can do some sort of intervention.
What we try to make certain is if you're at one elementary school the first 9 weeks, and then your family moves and you're going to be going to another elementary school, that we're all in the same place. That Sherwood Elementary, at the beginning of the second 9 weeks right now, is going to be in the same place that Jim Allen Elementary School.
So they're not playing catch up.
Correct. We should all be in the same place. You can call it a pacing guide if you so desire. And then we look at the interventions as it relates to the thing that the state did, progress monitoring. Well, we've always had progress monitoring. It's just now it's more focused. So what we do is we have data teams that'll work with each principal, and that principal will work with each school faculty, each teacher, so that they can tell exactly where Pueschel is in their English language arts, and where Keith is in his language, English language arts. So that Keith may need small group instruction, while Pueschel could go ahead and move on to the next task in that particular subject area.
Sure.
And we do that every week. And
so that's a little more individualized.
Absolutely, it's individualized. Doesn't mean there's not full group or full classroom instruction that does occur, but your learning and the pace at which you learn may be a little different than I. You may be able to go to a level 3 or a level 4, while I'm still working at a level 1 or level 2. Our goal is by the time we get to the end of the school year that you've had the opportunity to either go one whole grade further, or at least for me, that I can be on grade level. We're starting to see big gains as it relates to that. And it's not all about some program.
That's a brilliant idea.
It's not all about some program. It's about what that teacher's able, how that teacher's able to connect to that student, engage that student, and get that student to where they need to be.
Because not all students learn the same.
No, ma'am.
Some of them need more help. Some of them need to be, it needs to be explained in a different way. Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are measuring that, which I don't know that they've always done.
I don't think they did.
So what I'm most proud of is that the buy-in that we've received from our faculty and staff at each school, because it's really, you and I were talking before we went on air, things kind of go in cycles, and it's kind of a 180. Getting back to the basics. I remember that old adage years ago. But just making certain that students are getting the information that they need, that they have the opportunity to get ahead. And I think we're doing a really good job of doing that. And progress monitoring tells us that we are. We've done some other things this year. I gave you those numbers about the number of schools that were A's, B's, and C's. But just as important, and this probably hasn't been publicized, it's my fault, I haven't told the story enough. Our middle schools, as it relates to acceleration, are #1 in the state of Florida.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that does need to be publicized.
They're #1
Call
out of
Channel 3
67.
News right now.
#1 out of 67 school districts. So we have middle school students now that in 7th grade, they're taking biology. In 8th grade, they're taking algebra. So by the time they get to high school, they've already had those two courses. And then we also have all types of career academies. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to use that career academy as your career, but it certainly gives you a leg up.
Yeah.
So yeah, #1 in the state of Florida. I think that's something to brag about, and something to
even though
congratulate those students about.
As far as the career academies, even if the student decides to go into a different career academy, maybe next year, it's not a bad idea to know a little bit about a lot. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just to have the general basic introductory of a broad range of things.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what type of school initiatives are going on, and what has started since you became the superintendent?
We've got several. 2 that I can tell you straight off the top of my head that we did not this school year, but the year before. We added 6th grade to 2 of our elementary schools. So when I started elementary school, you didn't even have kindergarten. It was 1st through 5th, and then you went to middle school. Now you got the kindergarten. So at Cordova Park and at West Pensacola Elementary School, it's a K through 6. Really, really seeing big time academic improvement at both of those sites. You say, well, academic improvement. Cordova Park's always been an A. Yeah, they have, but when you look at their 6th grade students, and you in particular you look at West Pensacola 6th grade students, they're outperforming the other 6th grade students throughout our school district. So we know that we know there's something positive about that.
Yeah.
This school year right now, we have added 6th grade at Longleaf. Our school board members have really asked me and asked our team to take a good, long, hard look at coming up with some locations for K through 8s because of that middle school transition. So this school year, Longleaf Elementary School added 6th grade. Next year, they'll add 7th, and then the following year, they'll add 8th. So we'll have a K through 8 school at Longleaf Elementary School here in the very near future. There's many other initiatives We're getting ready to do a middle school scholars program at Pensacola High School that will be next school year. This will be one of our new magnet programs. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Well, I appreciate that. That sounds like a lot of positive improvement and change within the last couple of years.
Yes,
and that's just wonderful. That's what we were looking for.
We're going to keep it up.
So we're going to take a commercial break, but I want to remind our viewers that the Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. You can watch the Thornton Review on our various outlets. Our website, thethorntonreview.com. On Vimeo, please follow the Thornton Review. On YouTube, please subscribe to the Thornton Review at the Thornton Review 7810. Please like our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show. On TV, WBQP Channel 12 and WBQP on Roku and Fire Stick. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Keith Leonard, Escambia County School Superintendent. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Welcome back. We're going to continue our discussion with Keith Leonard. So Keith, I wanted to ask you about vouchers and school enrollment. So school enrollment, is it up or down? And are vouchers contributing to this if it's down? Yeah. And can you just explain the situation?
Yeah, I can tell you, we just got through going through our October FTE, which is our survey count, where we will report to the state the number of students that we have here in our school district. And it's 36,652 students, which is down.
That's a lot of students.
It is.
You said 36,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And how
many? I may have that transcribed. It may be 35, 652. And that's just the traditional schools, elementary, middle, and high schools. That takes out charter schools and some of our special centers. And that is down. It's down 300 or 400 students. It's not necessarily down.
That's not a lot. But
it's not necessarily down from what we had projected.
Considering the population growth.
It's that you would think that our student population within our traditional schools
would explode.
Explode, or at least be at a higher level.
Yeah.
But the voucher program has had an impact. And I talked to Senator Gates one day last week about some of the issues that we're having as it relates to the vouchers. As a parent, I think it should be every parent's right to make certain that their child gets to go to school where they think they ought to go to school.
Yeah.
Choice. It's not an ugly word. It's the way it ought to be as it relates to education. So as a school district, we've got to be able to compete. But I don't believe that the onslaught of handing out the money the money following the student was thought out well enough from the onset. An example would be last year, your school district provided services to 287 students that also received a voucher, and your school district did not receive the funding to provide
right, because they got the voucher, but then they sent their students there's kids to your schools.
They were sitting in Jim Allen Elementary School.
Well, there's got to be a way to audit that and to keep track so
Senator
that it doesn't
Gates
happen.
is working on that along with a lot of other legislatures.
Yeah.
Electors, they understand the significance of that. And we just got through with our account and had to do a report to the state.
Yeah.
And I want to say this year, it's 315 that are sitting in one of your schools, but are also receiving a voucher.
Well, that is a large number.
It is. So it really isn't getting better. So hopefully during this legislative session, they're going to figure out what they need to do to make that a better situation. Because if you as a parent have decided that you're going to homeschool or that you're going to take Keith to a private school, and you're counting on that funding to be able to do so, then that funding should go to you. Yeah. Just as so the same as it should come to the school district if Keith is being educated in the school district.
Can I ask you a question? So with vouchers, does the money from the voucher go to the parent or to the school of their choice?
It's supposed to go through the Step Up program through the state, and then that funding is either provided to the parent, depending on what option they've chosen, or to the school that they're going to be going to.
Oh, wow. So it would be easy to say, hey, I'm going to send my child to the most expensive school, however much the voucher will.
Let's say it's worth $9,000.
Okay. Say it's worth $9,000. What's preventing a parent from saying, okay, I need the $9,000. They get the voucher, they get the money themselves, but then they still send the child to a free public school, and they're just spending the money on cruises and new cars and whatever they want to buy.
They really need to take a hard look. You hit the nail on the head.
Is that illegal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and it's punishable by...
I don't know what criminal code it violates.
Well, people need to know that it's illegal. They cannot do that because maybe they don't realize it's illegal. Because why else would you do it?
That money is for a purpose, and that's to educate that child, whether it be at a private school or home school, whether it be through unique abilities or whether it be at one of our traditional public schools.
So it's just wrong and dishonest. I mean, that's just...
I would agree with that.
That's showing, and especially if your kid knows that you got that voucher money and then you're still sending the kid to free public school, that's horrendous. I mean, that's not good at all.
This is one of my ideas. I think they're going to have to look at perhaps more specifically, like right now they'll do the FTE and 2 different surveys. They may have to look at doing it like they do progress monitoring. It maybe need to be 3 or 4 times, and the money might need to be prorated instead of just provided to the school district. Maybe we need to get our money in different chunks, and just like that individual. Or the private school may need to get that money in different chunks.
And I think the vouchers, I think the money needs to go straight to the school of the choice, not to the parents. It's like if you get in an auto accident, your insurance is going to tell you which mechanic to go to, and they're going to pay that mechanic. They're not going to give you a check for the amount of your car, and then your car just sits junked in your backyard.
So Hurricane Ivan, everybody remembers Hurricane Ivan if you were here.
Yeah.
Still had a mortgage on our home. Well, that check from the insurance company
went to your mortgage company.
It went to my mortgage company.
Went to your bank.
To make certain that
I've experienced that too.
That's an example that we both can see, and hopefully our legislators will see fit.
Vouchers need to work that way.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the declining enrollment isn't just happening in your school district here in Escambia County. I want to say the last time I checked, over 30 school districts all throughout the state of Florida were experiencing the same declining enrollment. I know statewide, our school superintendent association is really working on this word of competition, being able to show what our school districts are doing and how we are being successful preparing young people for the real world. So hopefully that will come, that'll shine a bright light on what we are doing and make it competitive. At least that's my desire.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good. It should be competitive, and parents should have a choice on where they send their kids. And I think that the school district needs to be in a class and working, smoothly functionally with the right teachers, with the right curriculum, that so that the school district is high on the competition list, and that would be a place where people would say, well, Escambia County School District is just as good as the private schools.
I know I'm biased. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but if I have to, I guess I would.
Yeah.
I do believe we ought to be a parent's first choice. I just gave you an example of how that behavior is getting where it needs to be. And so far, when you talk about our middle schools being number one in the state as it relates to acceleration, and we've made a big leap. When I was in school, you went to school depending upon where you lived and by your zip code. You had a zone and it was where you had to go. There wasn't any choice. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's all kinds of choice right here within the Escambia County School District for you to be able to make an option on where you think your kid ought to go to school. Mm-hmm. And that's only going to get bigger and better. Right. We're going to do everything we can to combat the loss of student enrollment. And I think with our community support, you'll see that improve.
And I think that with your passion and with your knowledge and your entire history within the Escambia County School District, you have a very broad knowledge of what's going on, what needs to be done, what can be taken out. So this is your chance to create a legacy for Escambia County School District.
Yeah, well.
So more power to you. Yeah. I hope that you really, take it by the reins. I mean, you've kind of taken it by the reins and you're steering it in the right direction.
You're very, very kind, young lady. We're going to keep doing what we can. Mm-hmm. I do see improvement occurring each day. And some people may say I'm just dumb enough to realize, just smart enough to know that it takes all of us.
Absolutely.
And what I am really seeing all of us pulling in the same direction.
I agree with wholeheartedly. It takes parents agreeing with the direction that the school is going and nurturing their children at home so that they can go to school, be nurtured at school, and go stick by the ABCs.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Attendance, behavior, coursework performance, and stability. We just keep doing the things we're doing. We're going to get there.
Yeah. You want to create an environment where kids want to participate. And I believe you're doing that. Yeah. And if they don't have that at home, they're not going to carry that same attitude into school, maybe a lot of times. Some kids might,
I think we're getting them there. It's just going to take us a little time. And I'm very, very impatient. I don't want to win tomorrow. I want to win today.
Yeah.
So I think that will help us with combating a declining enrollment, combating this voucher program that the state's put in.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to something that you talked about earlier as it relates to our experiences in school. Mm-hmm. You can put all these different fancy titles on. You can call it a magnet program. You can say you got to go through a lottery to be able to get into it. Mm-hmm. The key to why I know we're going to end up being successful is exactly what you talked about. Good quality teaching. Mm-hmm. You can have all these different fancy programs, but what I see in our school district, and the young man that's your producer here, he can tell you what's going to make a difference in these kids' lives, is a teacher that's willing to tell them what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear, and then being able to put their best foot forward and work towards those accomplishments. And we've got 2,700 teachers that are outstanding, support staff, bus drivers, custodians, food service. They know they're valued and they continue to put their best foot forward every day for those students. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about where we're going, and you make me even feel better when you talk about what we're doing, but more importantly, what we're going to do. So thank you for reminding me of that.
Absolutely. Well, I see Escambia County School District heading in the right direction.
Yes, ma'am.
It was in the right direction when you and I were in school, and then somewhere, in there, it kind of got discombobulated a little bit. But you're steering it back.
We're
you're grabbing it by the reins and you're steering it back. So does Escambia County School District have an advertising department?
We have one guy that's really trying to help us. He's our public information officer, marketing director, and all. His name's Cody Strother. We do have a group here locally that's working with us to try to assist us in branding and marketing.
Yeah.
They worked with us on our strategic plan.
Mm-hmm.
But the best, what I've found out, which I am not a part of now, so I have to count on those of you in the audience that are, Facebook, all the different social media now, all that different stuff, you can really help outreach and market.
That's where I get all my, I don't even watch TV anymore.
Yeah. I watch very little TV and I watch less social media. So, but I know he's he's in tune to how to be able to work that Facebook stuff, whatever the social media may be.
Because we need to blast out all of the accomplishments, all the significant achievements that Escambia County and everything that Escambia County is accomplishing along the way.
I'll get Cody to put you on his list, and he'll make certain he's sending all that information to you. If you'll help us get it out there.
Yeah, we need to get it out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you see? You've been the superintendent for 2.5 years now.
Yes, ma'am.
What have you seen that needs to go, and what is your vision for the future of Escambia County School District?
Let's start it off with where we know that we can improve.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we've got to be able to do some things in our school district that people favor. I talked about magnet programs. So I told you a little bit earlier, we're starting a middle grade scholar program at Pensacola High School. Mm-hmm. This will not only help in the transition from elementary to middle school, but it'll also help in the transition from middle school to high school.
Mm-hmm. I just love that idea.
If a student feels like that higher academic rigor is something that they're really in tune to, then they'd have the opportunity to stay right there at Pensacola High School and go straight into the International Baccalaureate program.
Yeah.
One thing that we just did this year is at Tate High School, we did a Triumph grant and we were able to get automotive technology. When I was in school, we had automotive mechanics, which is vastly different than the way you fix your car now, because everything is electronic. So,
everything's computerized now.
Correct. So automotive technology at Tate High School through a Triumph grant. Met that teacher at our school choice expo last week. Phenomenal teacher, great students, really enjoyable. But we need to be able to spread that wealth in other locations. Because parents do get also concerned about that transition from elementary school to middle school. Yeah. One of the things that we're also looking at.
It was very stressful for me.
So one of the things we're thinking about doing, we have several middle schools that are in very close proximity to elementary schools. So this year, we're working on a collaboration with Helen Cairo Elementary and Bailey, and they are side by side. So 5th grade students that want to take accelerated math in 6th grade, they're able to do it right now in 5th grade at Bailey. And then parents start seeing that one period of that transition for this year while they're in 5th grade, and they're not quite as nervous about their child going to 6th grade. We're going to look for a couple other locations to have full K-8s. We know that the 6th grade is really working from an academic standpoint at Cordova Park in West Pensacola, so we'll also be looking at improving that. The thing that's probably been the most disappointing, and I won't say for anybody else other than myself, is the struggle sometimes it is to get the word out. I try to do as many.
Helping you.
I know you are.
I
I try to
get
do
the
as
word out
many
for
of these things that I can. But I can't be a one-man show. And let's face it, you'd rather listen to Pueschel Schneier talk than you would Keith Leonard. I don't have that eloquent voice. But having people that are proactive and also in favor of what we're doing in our school district is only going to help us. So I guess that's been one of my disappointments, but my vision is for all of that to go away. And it go away because they do see that the success we're having. Doesn't mean that we don't have one bad day. Something bad doesn't happen.
There's always going to be ups and downs, no
Correct.
matter what. No matter what, there's going to be highs and then there's going to be lows, and that's just you have to be cohesive enough to keep it together during the lows.
I hope I'm doing that, because my vision is for people to be able to say, you know what, my kid goes to X high school in Escambia County, and it has been the best experience we've ever had as a family.
Yeah.
And I want everybody in Escambia County to be able to feel that way, because that's how I feel. I can't imagine having grown up anywhere else. I can't imagine going to different schools than I had the opportunity to go to. I'm very proud of people like you. They're a product of this community. I'm proud of, like you said, it made my heart swell when you started talking about my mom and what kind of teacher she was for you. I want
amazing.
I want everybody to feel that way. So if I have a disappointment, is that we don't feel that way, and my vision is for us to put "yet" at the end of that sentence. That's the best way I can explain it to you.
Well, that's a good vision.
Okay.
Thanks for explaining.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
So, looking back on your coaching career, what was your biggest accomplishment that you are just the most proud of? And I hope you say what I want you to say.
Of my coaching career,
yeah.
It was what I'm most proud of is when I had the opportunity, like the other night, I went to a Pine Forest versus Escambia football game.
Okay.
And I'm standing there on the sidelines, and I got a young man that's a teacher and a coach at Pine Forest High School that's talking to me, and it makes me very proud to see him successful today. He was an All-American in high school. He went to the University of Florida, played defensive back there, and yet he came back here to give back to his community. It's seeing young men like him. His name is Marquette Oliver, and he works right there, and he has an impact on students day in and day out. I go to work, and I see a young lady that I had the opportunity to teach in social studies, and now she's in charge of something within our own school district. And I think maybe I had some small impact on what she was able to do. And then I guess it's selfish, but anytime you're able to take a athletic team to a state championship and find yourself successful, that's something that you can be proud of. And, they give you a ring for having done so, and people can take that feeling away from you. They can take that ring away from you, but they're never going to be able to take away that camaraderie that we have with those young men and women.
Absolutely.
About accomplishing something that not many people get the opportunity to do. So I don't know if I answered that the way you with what you wanted.
I wanted you to.
With students is probably my biggest thrill when I get to see them and their family and how successful they are today.
Yeah. It was a really good answer.
Okay.
And it was an honest answer, and I really appreciate your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
But I wanted you to say the Tate Aggies Classic.
You're talking about the baseball tournament.
Yeah.
We started a baseball tournament back when I was coaching baseball out at Tate High School. And we had teams from California, South Carolina.
Yeah, it turned into a national thing that you started when you were a coach. That's huge.
It was a lot of fun.
So that's a perpetual impact on students that you're not even coaching now. But you have a perpetual impact because they're being coached and they're participating in this national event.
You want me to go back and re-answer?
Awesome.
You're right.
No, your answer was good because it was honest. It was from the heart.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's what I appreciate.
It's the only way I know how to be.
So, okay, my biggest problem, so my son went to A.K. Suter Elementary, and I was the PTA president for a couple years, and then I got on county PTA. And those were very positive times because I wanted to be there for my son. I wanted to homeschool him at first, but he's so social. It would have been a big injustice to keep him at home alone with me all day, every day.
Okay. Yeah.
But I did homeschool, even though he was in school. I also homeschooled him, so he was getting it on both ends
Right.
because everything I tried to do with him, I tried to make it something educational.
Mhm.
And my biggest concern and my biggest, I guess, fear and problem was the transition from elementary to middle school. That was just frightening because he went from AK Suter, which was as good as any private school.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it was a very positive 6 years that he went there, from kindergarten to 5th grade. He was in Pats. He was nominated the class president in the 4th grade. It was just awesome. You know, it was a very flourishing, nurturing time. And then he went to middle school.
Right.
And everything changed. And part of the issue was that you have like 5 elementary schools feeding into one middle school. And so you have all these different schools that may have been different, you know, grades. I don't know if AK Suter was a high grade school, but it was big. It was a big issue and a big problem.
Yeah.
It was kind of
It's
traumatic.
probably the biggest concern that I hear from parents and quite frankly from students when I talk to different students. This year when I had the opportunity to go out and visit with Longleaf, and if you remember earlier I told you Longleaf's, this is their first year to have 6th grade.
Yeah.
So they had 6th grade this year. So I go out and I visit with those 6th graders, and and 6th graders will tell you everything, and they'll tell you things you don't want to hear. So they told me everything. They are really excited about the opportunity to be a KA, but they want to make certain, you know, Mr. Leonard, are we going to be able to have all the other options that our other middle schools have? Like, is there going to be athletics? Are we going to have band? Or are we going to have chorus? So those are the things that we're trying to work through right now, because I do believe, when I talk to parents, I know that transition from elementary school to middle school is really a scary time. Kids grow up faster now and they experience with things differently than when I grew up. So I can see as a parent where you would have nervousness about that. So looking at those pockets of schools where we can add the 6th grade, then also looking where we wouldn't have a negative impact on our current middle schools, where we can go more K-8s, I think would be the happy median. But quite frankly, one of the things we have to do, if this is some of the initiatives we want to bring to fruition, we've got to get more students within our school district. We can't continue to have a declining enrollment, because there will be implications from that occurring.
Well, okay, but then the opposite side of that is the declining enrollment would create more space inside the elementary schools, where you could make it KA even easier without having to bring in portables or add on to the school.
So many times there are positives out of negatives. That would be something that would be
And
positive.
I know when AK Suter built the new building, they built it way beyond capacity so that they could grow, because they were expecting to grow. I don't know whether they have or not, but
the community is probably not growing as much as some of the other sections of our community. The growth we're really seeing now.
Beulah and Cantonment.
Beulah and Cantonment.
Answer that for you, because I have seen it.
It is amazing. But
it's an explosion.
What we're going to be continuing to do, and I'm a lot better listener than I am talker, so I spend a lot of time listening. That was the only time I've heard what you've shared with me about the transition with your son and how you were probably more nervous than he was. We've got to find a way to be able to overcome that.
I think kids going from elementary to middle school, I think they like that sense of growing up, that sense of graduating to the next higher level.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that possibly having a K through 8 is going to take away a little bit from that sense of, you know, hey, I'm growing up, you know. But kids don't always know what's best for them.
No,
and that's why they have parents until they're 18 telling them what they need to do, because parents do know what's best for them for the most part. And I personally just think that K through 8 is the best.
We're going to give it a shot. We're going to keep working on it.
We've run out of time. I could talk to you all day.
Listen,
I would like to invite you back on.
Absolutely.
Do you have any closing statements you'd like to?
Just want to tell you, thank you so much for having me here today. it's special to be with you, and then it's also special to be able to use this show as a platform to talk to our citizens in this fine community. So thank you very much.
I'm so happy you feel that way, and I'm so happy you were able to come on and carve some time out of your day to speak with me and explain all of that.
Thank you, Pueschel.
It's very valuable information. So the Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. This show was made possible by Ida Gates, Godly Teas LLC, Alpha Fence Company, our guest, Keith Leonard, Escambia County School Superintendent, and we want to thank you for watching this episode of the Thornton Review. Bye-bye.